So I wanted to come on and talk a little bit about our language arts. I just feel led to kind of share a little bit about what happened this year in hopes that it might encourage somebody. I feel like as homeschool moms, we always feel pressure to choose the right curriculum. And I'm here to tell you that it's okay if you don't. So I'm not really sure what's going to come out in this conversation, but I'm excited to share just a little bit about what happened to us this year. In my stories, I mentioned we have a language arts notebook. This started by accident. We started the year with learning language arts through literature, and about 3 weeks into the school year, I realized I chose the wrong level. I should have done the placement test, lesson learned. So in order to save money, I bought the next level, just the teacher guide, and decided to try and do all the work in a notebook. So that's kind of where this started. Now, we loved learning language arts through literature. The main problem with it was we weren't actually reading the novels that the passages were coming from, because we were reading so many other things. And I feel like that's kind of where we lost that, depth, that meaning. And so that's eventually where we kind of started feeling like maybe it's not the right fit for us. So as I reflect on the year, what I love about this notebook is the evidence of me trying to discover who I was as a homeschool mother teaching language arts. There's evidence even back to September in the very beginning of the year where I was trying to get our unit studies integrated into our language arts, and I was just playing with it and trying to figure out what to do. We did a random biography assignment because my daughter wanted to be Cleopatra for Halloween, and I was like, you know what? This is a good project. And so we studied Cleopatra because we had also studied some of the ancient times, so that worked out perfect. I remember one time I got bored of the textbook and we did a random diagramming sentences unit. And so that's in here too. So I can see all these bits of me. There's all these little bits of things in here where I'm just trying to figure out what the path is for our language arts. And I can laugh now, but living it out was not funny. But I think the encouraging thing that I want to share is, we try to pick the right thing and it's just not really there. Like, you really have to do what's best for your family. But even in all the mistakes, we were still learning so much. And here's the evidence. Like, I can look through and be like, wow, we really didn't finish an entire curriculum workbook. However, we did so many things, and now we've really kind of found our groove in what makes us happy studying language arts. Honestly, I couldn't have gotten here without messing up so many times. So, learning from my mistakes is what led me to where we are now. And it's possible that I'll adjust and make changes to what we're doing now in the future, but right now it's working. All the language arts that we're doing is based off of what we are reading together as a family. And so we have completely eliminated an all-in-one language arts curriculum, and it's been so freeing. And I just feel like our lessons are so much more meaningful, but it was a rough start. I have to share something funny. I've gotten questions about narration and if it's not going well. This was our very first narration. It's 2 sentences, and I will tell you there were tears that day. I won't tell you who they're from. But then weeks later, as we kept practicing, I have written narrations in here that my daughter was doing on her own, and they were so beautiful. So stick with it. All of the choices I made this year came from a strong desire to read and connect over good books with my children. And if that is something that you are wanting to do as you're thinking about picking curriculum for next year, doing it on your own can be really fun, but it can also be really scary. So if that's not something that you want to do, I do encourage you to look at learning language arts through literature. I don't think there was anything wrong with that program, but make sure you're actually reading the novels that go with the passages. The other thing that I would check out is that kind of has that similar feel are Dart guides by Brave Writer, or I think Dart is like a level. Anyway, Brave Writer has great guides to do novel studies, but hers is not very, let me tell you the difference really quick, hang on. So the Learning Language Arts Through Literature is going to break it down for you day by day. So day 1, you need to do this. Day 2, you need to do this. The Brave Writer Guides, we did one of those last year. They're really wonderful, very thorough, but they're not going to break it down day by day. They're going to say, hey, here's all of these things that you can discuss and do what makes you happy. And so you kind of have to do what makes you happy, what makes you feel, makes your family flow the best. So just a couple little tidbits about those two things. I did have blog posts about what we are doing, but I wrote them in the beginning stages, and I'm going to be honest, I've even tweaked it a little bit since then. So hopefully when we do another one in the future, I can kind of be a little bit more clear about what works for us. But anyway, thanks for sticking around and listening to me blab about language arts. I hope it might be encouraging to one of you.